Good evening. My name is Chris, also known as the Atheist Pastor. And for those of you who can't tell, I'm from a place called Australia. Yes, it is real. I am here. Many years ago, there was a man who lived in Australia who went by the name of Ken Ham. Now, Ken had some pretty crazy ideas that he tried to share with the people of Australia. First, he tried to share them in his home state of South Australia, Adelaide in particular, known as the City of Churches, but they weren't buying it. They just couldn't see his vision. Then he went to Queensland, which is, we like to call in Australia, the south of Australia, even though it's north. He went up there to try and share it, and unfortunately, they weren't having any of it either. What was Ken to do? Well, fortunately, he did what all good evangelical apologists do. He went to America. Now, in America, the American people were so wonderful, they took him in and they loved him. He became a much-loved figure, so much so that he was given $100 million to build a really big boat in Kentucky. Now, I know that caused a lot of controversy, but what you have to understand is the boat had nothing to do with religion. It's actually part of our Australian culture. You see, in Australia, we're fans of big things. We have the big merino, the big prawn, big banana. In fact, if it's big, you can find it pretty much on any major highway in Australia. Because here in Australia, size really does matter. But I do need to be very blunt and very serious here. America has done so much for Australia. You know, America came to our aid in the Second World War, and we've been fighting side by side ever since. You gave us The Simpsons, South Park, Game of Thrones, and the great American comedian Kent Hovind. So there's a level of guilt that we did send Ken over to you, and for that, we would like to apologise. Formally, on behalf of the Commonwealth of Australia, I am sorry. There is two very important caveats, though, that I would like to add to the apology. Now, the first one is, unfortunately, under Australian law, we do have a no returns policy. So as much as we'd like to take him back, the boss has said no, we can't. The other thing that it is very important to remember is, do we really have evidence that Ken Ham came from Australia at all? I mean, as the great man himself would say, were you there? Thank you very much.